The surname Kline is Jewish in origin, but the term was coined by the Germans in the Rhineland region in northern Germany. At the conclusion of the Spanish Inquisition and to the lead-up of the French Revolution, the Rhineland region was subject to years of war and turmoil. The United States saw its greatest migration of Germans during this time, and along with them came members of the Kline clan. Aldrich Kline, who was the first Kline to come to America, arrived in New York City in 1641. But the greatest wave of Klines migrated to Pennsylvania between 1720 and 1775. Johann Jacob Kline was born in the Alsace region in Germany in 1736 and immigrated to Philadelphia sometime in the fall of 1749. He would marry Anna Eva de Song in 1759 in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They would follow the Great Wagon Road down the Shenandoah Valley and settle near Stevens City in Frederick County, where he would operate a mill. By the late 1770s, his children would move to Hampshire County, Virginia, and Pendleton County, Virginia, now West Virginia. The cabin we are investigating was constructed sometime in the late 1700s to early 1800s by the Kline family. In part 1, last week, we are introduced to the site by the realtor Jeff Bowers. In this episode, part 2, we continue our exploration of the site. In part 3, we make an incredible discovery. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, good morning and welcome to this episode of the Appalachian History Detectives. I am on site. This is my second day here. Yesterday, I was here with the realtor and spent maybe an hour, hour and a half. Early morning, it rained all night last night. 100% chance of rain today. I'm coming up on the site now. There goes my shovel. But I wanted to point out some things to you guys that I notice about this place here in particular. A lot of places I detect are in the mountains, and the Pioneers had a hard scrabble life, but this one here is probably the rockiest soil and the most difficult site I've had to ever dig in. And what I wanted to point out to you, I don't know if you can see, I'll try to zoom in on this, but you can see the chimney right there. But the ground is absolutely full of rocks. And these rocks, I mean, there's piles here, piles here. Now this isn't cleared. This is natural. This is naturally on the soil, and this has not been cleared to make a field out of. You can see where they attempted to right here. There's a big pile of rock right here. But I mean, if you look up through there, through the trees, I mean, this is literally a rock garden. And over there where the house is, I'll show you some of that too. Literally rocks piled all around that house just to get the house in there. So it kind of makes me wonder what kind of farming they did up here. Maybe it's just cattle. There is a barn over there. The barn doesn't look all that old to me, maybe 1900s era. The cabin is definitely older than that. And the artifacts we have found already point to pre-1863, but it definitely looks like they lived there clear up into the 1900s. All right, let's get started. All right, you guys, I got a good hit. I'll let you see it. I'm right here on the chimney. But I also wanted you to see this pile of rocks. See that pile of rocks right there? I mean, that's just like a pile of fieldstone right here, right beside the chimney. I think it's It's really strange, but that's a 1617, and it's in that area right there. So I'll go dig it up because it takes me a while to dig through this rocky soil. I mean, you can see the rocks. There's lots of rocks in here already. Maybe it'll be something good. Think it might be something good. Let's see. See, there's rock right there, man. It is just very, very rocky soil. And it's hard to hold the camera and do this with one hand, so I might have to put you guys down. But there's a rock right there. So I can't imagine this artifact being down below that. So let's see. Make sure it's on. Okay, it's right there. Oh, is it iron? Is it iron? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Look at this. Look at that. So that makes sense, being right here by the fireplace, that this probably was a door to a stove. But it read good. It read 1617 on my MindLab Equinox. All right. I won't bring you back until we get something good. All right, you guys, I pulled it out. It was under this massive, huge stone. So I had to pull it up, and I pulled it out here. And it looks like a suspender clip. These don't look that old to me. So it just makes me wonder when this house actually went down. It says extra heavy, and it's an artifact. Is it an early period artifact? I don't believe it is. But it was underneath that rock, and I'm still here, right here where the chimney is. So, you know, this house could have been lived in quite some time. I don't know what happened to the logs of it. I don't know if it burned down. I don't see any evidences of it being burned. But it could have been commandeered. I mean, the prior owner could have had this taken down and moved to another site. That is not uncommon here. But first find of this new day is a suspender clip. All right, I just found that suspender clip right there underneath that rock. I'd pulled it over onto the ground, and I still had a strong hit. You can see I found a horseshoe underneath there, and I thought that might be it, so I ran my detector over it. Let me pull it out here. And it sounds like there's something right there. So let's, might be part of that clip. Maybe not. Maybe it's a button. I don't see it. Might have to put you guys down. Is that it? You guys see anything? Oh no, the nemesis. Oh man. Okay. Well, that's not what we're looking for. But I find these everywhere. So I'll put those on that rock right there, and we'll keep going. All right, you guys, no site in West Virginia is complete until you find what I just found. I find them everywhere. And I didn't do a live dig because the ground is just still too rocky. Pulled all these rocks out of this hole. Do you see it? Looky there. That is a harmonica reed. Sorry it's so muddy. I'm not by any water where I can clean this off. So you guys that want to see this cleaned off, you're going to have to wait until the end of my video where I actually clean all these artifacts off. But harmonicas were popular anywhere from the 1850s clear up through, you know, about 1910 is about when these things were really popular. You can still find them today. People still play them today. But I call these the West Virginia harp because you find them everywhere, and this is the poor man's music. More than the banjo, more than the fiddle, there was the harmonica. All right, I like it. All right, you guys, I pulled this out of the ground, and I don't know what it says. It's fancy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean that up. I don't know what that says, but it's pretty fancy. It's an artifact, and we'll take it. All right. All right, you guys, you can probably see that it's pouring down the rain, and I am not even close to shelter here. I did find something though. I don't know what it is. It looks like it could be a button. I started pulling that rock out and it popped right there. You know, it is a button. It is a button. Is it a military button? I'm gonna have to clean that up. It's so muddy out here, but that's a good find right there. It's a button. All right. All right, you guys, I'm gonna have to call it quits. It's pouring down the rain. I'm super muddy. All the artifacts are muddy right now. So I'm gonna do a wrap up at my house. I'm gonna show you everything I found at this site. I wasn't here even the second day very long, maybe an hour. So I've only spent about 2 hours at this house site. The ground is full, there's a lot of artifacts. It is tough getting in here. I mean, you can see it's a very wild, wild place. It is for sale. I don't know how long it's going to be before it sells. But, and the soil's very, very rocky, making it very difficult to dig into. Do I believe there's coins there? I do. Do I believe there's other buttons there? Yes, I do. It's just a matter of being able to have the time to get in there and actually do an adequate assessment and survey of the ground with my metal detector. Did well today. I found a number of things, and but what I'm going to do, because it's just so muddy and I'm soaking wet, is I'm going to clean up the artifacts and I'm going to go over them with you when I get to my house. All right. Okay, so I'm going to show you overall. This is what we found. We found all this in about 2 hours, and I am tickled to death. Got a lot of early history here, clear through the Civil War, even into the 1930s. So let's take a look. One of the earliest finds that I found, the first finds was this lock, and it says US on it. So this is a US lock, and this is the key. The keyhole is right here, and this key lock here, protector, would swivel right there, but it says US, so this is a US lock. This china here is early period china. Typically, when you see a feathered edge like this in blue or green, you know, that's very common for late 1700s, early 1800s. I didn't film this. Don't know what this is. It's a brass ring. I did film that. This is a huge spike, and it's square, and it's got a formed top on it, right there. I love finding things like this. Now, the harmonica reed, you saw me pull one out, but I actually found two. They were on two different sides of the house. These were really popular from the 1850s all the way up probably to 1930s. So I can't pinpoint when or the age of this, but it's a good find. The spoon, you saw me dig this spoon right out of the ground, and there is fancy on it. And I believe there is silver wash on that. And this was found right up against the fireplace, and not sure why it was up there, but I think probably at one point a mower hit it and probably kicked it up against the chimney stack, and that's where we found it. This is an early period spoon. There is a mark here, a maker's mark. I don't know, let me pull back. I don't know if you guys can see it. It looks like maybe a sun, maybe a cloud with rain, sheaves of grain. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 different symbols right there. I'll try to take a picture of that, and let's see if you guys can find what time period this comes from. This here is a piece of melted pewter, and I found it right at the door of the house. This here I found, and I think it is probably a little pill container, or definitely is a container. It's very, very fragile, and I don't want to pry that open yet. There's nothing in there. This button here says extra color, and this button dates from anywhere from 1810 to 1830, so that's an early button. This button here is a very interesting button. This says WH, I think it says Horseman and Sons, WH Horseman and Sons. And this button here dates anywhere from 1860 to about 1890. Mr. Horseman himself, the story on this is, this was, he started a button company in Philadelphia, and he passed away around 1850, and his sons took it over. Now, typically, it has a little bit more language on here when his sons took it over, so I don't know if this button here is prior to prior to his death in 1850, but I think this button actually dates around 1870 to 1890. Here we have an old iron buckle. Who knows what time period this comes from, but I would say definitely probably in the 1800s. These suspender clips, I call them clips. I don't know what they are. This one says extra heavy on it. This one, he actually even has some pivoting components on it. This one here says Stanley President, and this manufacturer maker here was in business around 1930, and they got bought out not many years after that. But there's a patent date on here, and the patent date, I believe it says patent 12392 is what that says. Now here's an interesting artifact. This says souvenir, and this was for ribbons. And a lot of times war vets would be handed these, and there would be a ribbon on here. So this house could have been a war vet, and these are typically prior to or around World War I, back to 1880. So this could have come from the Mexican-American War. It could have come from another war and time period. And then this is the only gear I found. I think this may have come off of an alarm or a grandfather clock. Now you guys saw that iron I pulled out of the ground too. I'm going to get photographs of that iron, and you'll see it at the end of the video. The kettle, the pot, I mean, that was beautiful. I love digging that thing out, even though it wasn't a whole piece. And but man, I'd never found one that large. That other one, I don't know. It's very, very heavy. I thought it might be on the end of a grandfather clock, but I'm not really certain what that is. So if you guys know what that is, please tell me. We did real good out there. Didn't have a whole lot of time, but we did real well. The property's for sale. You guys can buy it if you want it. Should we go back? I'd like to go back. I think we should go back. If you guys think we should go back, comment below. I'll contact the realtor and we'll go back out there. Thank you guys for watching the episode. Thank you guys for being super fans of my channel. Hit the like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next episode. All right, bye-bye.